For $1 billion company, why is it so difficult for people to figure out skill-based matchmaking in this modern age? I mean, and this just has everything to do with shooters and not anything else. Because like the shooter genre is going through it right now, whether you want to admit that shit or not. I mean, at least in pubs, segregating like high level players from low level players doesn't exactly seem to be doing the trick, because once you get to a high enough elo, son, you get stuck with people who don't exactly want to be your teammates. So what's the fucking point? The more constrictive that pool becomes, like, and I gotta get stuck with like literally egotistical motherfuckers, like who either insta lock or just think they're the best player in the world and have absolutely nothing to add. So like I had a thought, like just like a real genuine thought. And I'm not saying that I know everything about everything, but I'm just exercising a little bit of common sense here. There's a percentage of people who can shoot, a percentage of people who can kind of shoot, and then there's a percentage of people who are still trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna break it down into the percentages. So let's say there's a 10% of people who can shoot, 30% of people who can kind of shoot. Like, they some days they hot, some days they cold. Some days they're a little in between. And then there are just some people out there that just have no thumbs or no wrists. Whichever your preference is. There's just a very vital stat that could just be used to mitigate all of our suffering and just not only make the pool a little bit more balanced and consistent, but like not also make people feel left out when they want to play with their friends who are kind of good, but got to deal with sweaty ass lobbies. You feel what I'm talking about? Are y'all following me? I'm kind of ranting at this point. I feel like the answer to all our problems, including cheating, is accuracy. Almost every shooting game there is has a stat that tracks accuracy. So why isn't most anti-cheats built around monitoring accuracy? You can rarely fake accuracy, At least in my opinion, you can't fake accuracy. Like it's either you're shooting 20% from the free throw line, filthy casuals are shooting in between 45 and 50%, and most of your decent players are shooting around 60, 70%. And if you're really cracked, which you're probably a pro player that just plays this game because it's your bread and butter, then you're most likely shooting about 75, 80%. I feel like that's accurate math. And so why the fuck is skill-based matchmaking tracking wins and losses? Shit like that could be easily inflated. Like I can have somebody carry me through some shit, boost my stats. If I'm actually contributing anything to the game or to the match in general, it's gonna show in like how many shots I've actually landed. Also with that, if you have like proper tools like in-game, like recordings and theater and shit, you can also use that to see who's manipulating their stats, because it's like you can't manipulate accuracy unless you're going around and just putting one bullet into somebody and not shooting the rest of the clip. But then you won't be contributing to the match. Like you'll just have no kills, but like the highest accuracy. You can get flagged for that. Or say if I am using a cheat, I'm shooting like everyone from everywhere with little to no effort, and then for whatever reason I just decide to stop and shoot at the wall, just like spray random bullets. You can flag that. I'm just confused because this shit just randomly popped into my head, and it's like, how, with all your data analytics, have we not built skill-based accuracy around accuracy? I feel like it's so simple. Now, grain of salt, I could be wrong, but I just don't see how. Nope, can't see how. Granted, the many exceed the few. So if there are more players who are shooting about 20 to 30%, though that'll probably be like to not to fuck it, I'm just gonna call it. I mean, you could just call that the kiddie pool. It's either, someone who has no care to play this game at a higher level, or like in between, and they just want to play this shit for fun. As they should. Because video games are supposed to be fun. But some people want to pick up the controller and be a demon, and I just happen to be one of those people. Like I like bus ass. Bus ass is fun to me. I like tension in my engagements. Like that's what does it for me. If the many do exceed the few, if you're shooting anywhere from 10% to about, I want to say mid 30s, like let's say 35%, maybe 36, you will be matched with people within your skill bracket within that accuracy. Now, if you're shooting anywhere from 45 to 55%, I feel like that's open range for improvement because you have some degree of skill. Like you're not a Timmy No Thumbs, or you just don't have any accuracy at all. So that means you can hang a little bit. So that means you should be able to hang with people who are shooting somewhere between 60 and 70%. And in some cases, like you might even get matched with people who are shooting above 70%. And I feel like that's fair. You may not run into them all the time, but I still feel like, if depending on That also is depending on the population. But if a game is popular enough and the population is dense enough, then you'll be rarely running into people who steamroll you, or like teams of 6 who steamroll you. And that also opens up the door for you to play with people you actually want to play with without feeling like you're out of place in the lobby, because there's so much diversity in the pool. Like I said, I could know nothing about nothing, but it just feels to me that y'all really ain't looking hard enough. That wins and losses are, or kill ratio is the answer when it really isn't. Stop looking at accuracy, bro.